Thanks for tuning in once again. Proline TV, it's our Breeders' Cup special. That's right, this only happens once a year, as we all know, and we're real excited to give you our best coverage on the Breeders' Cup. We are going to break down 3 races from Saturday's huge card. We're also going to go over a race on Friday where Jon is going to give his picks, so we don't want to leave you left out hanging for Friday's card. Obviously, if you want to check out all the races for Friday's card regarding Jon's selections, don't forget to check out links in the description of this video where you can check out Jon's picks on his website. Jon Hardoon, how you doing?
Good, Greg. How are you?
Doing good. So how does this rank Breeders' Cup week for you compared to the rest of the season?
Well, it's a little more hectic than usual because you have people coming out of the woodwork that don't play except for Saratoga, Del Mar, Derby Day, and Breeders' Cup Day. So it's busy, it's hectic, and we do a lot of shows and everything else. So, but there's a lot of races, and these are, most of these races are wide open and very difficult, to be honest with you. You have the best horses from the world all showing up at one track at one day, and that's it.
It's not exactly even though there are tons of big races and great horses, it's not exactly the best 2 days to earn money. That's for sure. I mean, you can do it.
That's not necessarily true because you get overlays, horses slip through the cracks, and these are all good horses. So they all have a right to step up on that day and, do the best. Obviously, big scratch in the Classic, Sovereignty, who was the 6-5 morning line favorite, is coming out. So that's good news and bad news. It's bad news if you wanted to bet against him because the odds are going to be chopped in half for the most part. And I was actually going to take a shot against him, even though we've been on him for every race that he's won. But we were going to go a different route, but we're going to still go the same different route. But instead of getting 8-1, we'll probably get 3-1.
Yeah, that's the thing. And boy, would he have been tough to beat, though. He had the perfect line, the perfect sheet line, and he would have been real tough to beat. So like you said, there's good and bad of it. Definitely the bad of it are the odds. So we'll break into that.
Well, it's also the bad of it for the game because this was like the race of all time for Breeders' Cup. That's how deep it was. There's so much.
Yeah.
It was really a terrific race, but nothing you could do. A horse gets sick, he gets scratched, and that's it.
Okay, so let's first of all take a look at some of our just a couple of comments from last week after our show. Actually, this was either before or during or after our show. You can do that live or you can do it after the show. It's up to you. You can also check out in the text section of the video you see there on the text board. You'll see a little $sign. If you click that, then you can donate to the show whatever you want. For any reason, $1, $5, $50, whatever you want. And it also is so you can leave a message or ask a question. So check that out if you want to donate to the channel. And of course, we use that to better our programming here and make all these shows free for you all year long. Vale Place, you guys are both ace. Love your mythology to handicapping. So I think it's the first time we've heard from Vale Place.
Well, we like to hear from everybody, but that's good.
Yeah. Here's our resident. I think he's again. I'm not sure if he's Brazilian or not, but we always have to hit translate English. Greetings, Greg and Jon offer the best equestrian guidance.
I like this guy.
Yeah. Dios.
Let's get into the show. We got so many.
Dios Mel Jose. Yeah. And then how do I access Jon Hardoon's selections? So I didn't hear back from Scott, but just let everybody know, as I said in the very beginning, there's links in the description if you want to check out Jon's website where all of the selections are, because obviously if you want to hear about our selections, that's what the show is about. And then this was from last week, because remember, Jon, we were wondering about the Manhattan Room.
Yeah.
Well, Vale Place was the one who sent it. She said, I'm a girl. You're way off. I grew up on NYRA tracks. Wasn't the Manhattan Room reserved for the big players' second floor clubhouse aqueduct?
I don't think so. I grew up at Naira also, and I grew up at Aqueduct. I don't remember. Maybe it was the
Okay.
name of a restaurant there. Could have
Well,
been.
if anybody knows, we've got really
I think it was
intelligent.
they had a place at Belmont called the Manhattan Terrace. So maybe that's what she's thinking about. Maybe they had it at Aqueduct also. I don't know, but I'm
Okay.
sure she knows what she's talking about. A New Yorker, nothing wrong with us New Yorkers. We stick together.
All right. So, as I promised, we are going to talk about a race, first of all, on Friday. So, this is what kicks off the weekend, of course, all the juvenile horses. And, John, you wanted to pick out, you're going to give a pick here on race number 6. And this is the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Sprint. Again, race 6, 5 furlong race. Why did you want to pick this race?
Well, a lot of the races were difficult. There was some short price horses, but there's a horse in this race that I think will slip through the cracks and may be longer than the 6-1 she's listed at. And it's the number 10 horse in here, Cy Fair. 2-year-old filly from the George Weaver barn, 3 career starts, and she's run well in all 3 of them. You know, not easy to win from the 10 post at 5 furlongs on this turf course, but I think she's going to be value. And I like the 10. I like the rider switch to Irad Ortiz, and I think she's going to run well. I would play exactas with the 5 Obliteration, the 6 Intricate Spirit, and the 11 Schwarzenegger. 10 with 5, 6, 11. Come back, reverse them as well.
I was just about to ask you a question on 2 of those horses, because the 2 horses that I was interested in were the 5 and the 6.
Well, the 5 is certainly at 15-1 a must use. I was close to keying that horse as well. You know, I was between the 5 and 10. Maybe I should have gone to the 5 because he's 15-1, but I went to the 10.
Yeah. So
and
that's
the
good.
6 is fine. Yeah. I mean, you know, you have the live horses there and you have the value. The 5 is 15-1. The 6 is 12-1. You know, there's even a case to box all 4, to tell you the truth, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, excellent. That's what I'm going to do with the 5 and the 6. John's going to go 10 over 5, 6, 11 for race 6 on Friday. That is the Juvenile Turf Sprint. Before we talk and break down our races on Saturday, just a quick one regarding the juvenile race. Of course, this is supposed to be the race where everybody looks at as the horses of the future. It doesn't always work out that way, but sometimes it does. And it's a small card. It's only 8 horses, but the 2 horses that clearly look like the horses to beat are the 7 Brant and the 8 Ted Nafi. Now, Ted Nafi is a 4-5 on the morning line, the Pletcher horse. The 7 horse has a Baffert Pratt combo. Brant ran a 6 in his first race, and Ted Nafi's got back-to-back 7. So are they clearly the 2 horses that we need to pay attention to in that race?
Well, I certainly think Ted Nafi's the horse to beat. First of all, Ted Nafi's been around 2 turns, so that certainly gives him an edge.
Okay.
The problem with Brant is it's not a problem, but they paid $3.5 million for this horse. He's never been long. You know, he ran 5.5 furlongs first race, stretched out to 7 furlongs in career start number 2. The problem is the big number that he ran first time out. It's not good for a 2-year-old to run that fast, that early. You know, sometimes they recover from it, sometimes they don't. You don't see many horses that run a 6 first time out as a 2-year-old. From years of looking at sheets, when horses run that well that early, usually it's not a good thing down the road. I was going to use the 8 Ted Nafi in exactas, but I was going to put some prices underneath. The 3 Mr. AP at 30-1 and the 6 Litmus Test at 15-1. So I was going to turn a 3-5 shot into maybe a 15 or 20-1 shot. You know, we give people betting strategies on the show sometimes, and when you're dealing with a favorite, well, we try to get some value out of it. So if I'm using Ted Nafi, who's going to be the favorite, and I use 2 bombs underneath, well, that, you know, makes a 3-5 into a 15-1, and that's what we're trying to do.
All right, so there you go. That's the Friday portion of the show for you. And we are now going to get into our big races on Saturday's card. And just want to shout out to Jeff. Hello, Jeff. It's been a few weeks, so good to have you back here once again. And before we get to the classic race, we do have somebody that has a comment on the classic, but that's going to be coming up next.
What was the other race you were doing besides the classic?
Oh, we're doing race number 6. So this is going to be the sprint. And then we're also going to do the race number 11, the dirt mile.
Well, the fourth, the sixth race is, I love a horse there.
Yeah.
The fourth race was also kind of a sprint, but that was for, I guess, fillies and mares. Okay, so let's do the sixth. Let's begin.
All right. Yeah. So let's get started with race number 6 on Saturday. It's a 6 furlong race and $2 million race, which would go off right around 20 after on Saturday. The morning line favorite is the 10, Ben Tornado. Ben Tornado is a 5-2 shot. But, taking a look at Ben Tornado's sheet numbers, it looks like there are other horses' numbers that are not too far off or maybe even better than Ben Tornado. So I think there's an opportunity to definitely go away from the morning line favorite here, John. And I think even though it's not a big number, and I get that, but sometimes you got to go with what you like. And we start with that one horse, Copion, which looks like I'd much rather have the 1 than the 10 in this spot. The 1, Copion's coming off a 6 at Del Mar last time out. And before that, this year had 3 threes. This horse has 2 grade 1 wins on the ledger already in his career. And I think Copion is the horse that I'd like to go with, among others that we'll get into.
Well, Copion is my top selection. He has 3 threes. First of all, it's a girl running against the boys. So that's the first thing. So she's going to get some weight. She is by far the fastest horse in the race. By the way, you were talking about Ben Tornado. I want no part of that horse at 5-2.
Exactly.
Listen, he could win, but he's going to win without my money. That's for sure. I love Copion in this spot. I think she's going to get a great trip behind the speed. She's cutting back in distance. She's never run 6 furlongs. The fact that Mandela is running her in this spot means a lot to me. Mandela knows how to win Breeders' Cup races. I think he won 4 or 5 of them one day back in Santa Anita back a few years ago. That being said, Copion will be my top selection. Rider switch today, by the way, to Mike Smith, who I think is you didn't give your usual stats and stories, but I think he has the most Breeders' Cup wins out of everybody.
Okay. There was, I felt with normally I do, yes, but there are definitely there were a lot of races to go on here. So anyway, this horse, by the way, 8 out of 9 in the money with 5 wins, 3 in second. So yeah, there's a lot to like about Copion. Okay. Now let's go with, see if we can find maybe some good value, some good long shots to pair with Copion. So let's see if we can find them. Let's see. Let's go to number 2, Banishing, a 15-1 shot. Our old buddy Chad Summers takes over for David Jacobson and Gaff Leone on board. The horse ran a 4 the last time he sprinted. So that is important to note. That was in July. And he's got a lot of single digits, solid horse at 15-1. What do you think about Banishing?
I don't like this horse at all. I don't like the trainer change. He's going from David Jacobson, one of the top trainers, in the country, I guess, to Chad Summers. While Summers could win races, I just think it's a negative barn switch, and I don't like the way the horse is going. I think he's going in the wrong direction.
The 3 is Lovesick Blues. Now, Lovesick Blues, what you notice as far as the sheet line is obvious. A couple of 5s in the last 2, 1 on turf, 1 on dirt. Matter of fact, the last time on dirt on a fast track, 6 furlongs, Bing Crosby, grade 1 win. But you also notice that this is a 7-year-old, and usually you see that this horse normally gets about 5 to 6 weeks off. When he ran the 5, his last 2 5s, he had 6 weeks off and 10 weeks off. Now he's coming in on 3 weeks off at 7 years old.
He's no good. They wasted the 5 last time out. They should have saved the 5 for this week to run.
Yeah, right.
That's the mistake they made.
Okay. Now the 4 is actually a horse that I'm a little bit interested in as a long shot, and that's Patriot Spirit, a 4-year-old coming off back-to-back 7s. Does Patriot Spirit qualify for pairs?
No.
Okay. And why? Two separated numbers?
Too much time between racing.
What do you want, a month?
Yeah, a month to 6 weeks tops. But
same thing like the bounce, 4 to 6 weeks.
Exactly. But he ran it back on July 26th and September 27th. You left out a month there. August is missing. So that's
sure. Oh, that's why it's no pairs. Exactly. Yeah. But anyway, the line is actually getting better for the 4-year-old. That's the thing. It's a 4-year-old. It's a young horse that seems to have maybe caught fire a little bit. Like I said, I'm looking for some long shots, and I'm thinking about putting the 4 in.
Okay, well, he's 30-1, so we don't argue with 30-1 shots. I'm unfamiliar with the trainer, to be honest with you. I guess he has a shot, but you're going to see
Michael Campbell.
Everyone in the race. No one really runs worse than a 7 for the most part. So
yeah, exactly. That's why, as we said before, there are definitely opportunities. Even if you have a favorite, hook them up with some long shots, and you can make some money. The 5 is Big City Lights. Now, this horse is on a 9-month layoff. So that's not necessarily what we want to see. But the other thing, too, is much tougher competition. I mean, you love the fact that he's 13-13 in the money with 7 wins. He's coming in on 4 straight 6s. But as I said, we haven't seen him since January. And he's stepping up in a competition as well. What do you think about Big City Lights?
Well, it's the other Mandela horse in the race. Mandela also trains the 1 Copion, who I like the best. The horse is going to run a 6. If you think a 6 can get you in, he's 15-1. He really never runs worse than the 6.
No.
So why is he going to run? But a 6 may not be good enough. I don't think it's good enough to win, but underneath, why not an exactus?
The 6 is Dr. Venkman of Ghostbusters fame. Another interesting long shot, because in his last 3 races, he's gone from 11 to 9 to 6. It's also a horse that before the 11 ran all single digits from 7 to 9. So another one of these single digit horses that is a nice little long shot. You got to pick the right one. And what I like about Dr. Venkman as a potential long shot in this race is the fact that he's got 4 wins at Del Mar. No other horse in this field has more than 2. So he's very familiar with the track, very familiar with winning, and very familiar with winning with good numbers. So I think Dr. Venkman is worth throwing in the exotics.
I'm definitely using him in my exotics for sure. He's 15-1. And if you look at him closely, last time out, he broke from the rail. The time before that, he broke from the rail. 3 back, he broke from the 2 post. 4 back, he broke from the rail. So he's been stuck inside. This horse does not like to be inside. He finally draws outside. So for that reason, that only gives me more of a reason to use him. He's a definite exacta partner to the 1 Copion.
All right. The 7 is next. That's Imagination. 6-1 shot. This is a Baffert trained horse with Hernandez on board, coming off a 4. That is the first. That's actually a 3-point new top. He ran a 10 in January, so he had some time off, ran the 4 after all that time off in a grade 2 win, which is pretty impressive considering the time off.
Well, he's 4 years old. He's allowed to get better. The problem is he did run a 4 last time out. However, that being said, it is Baffert. He has 3 starts at Del Mar, no wins, but 2 seconds and a third. So he certainly doesn't mind the track. I would use him.
Yeah, the only weak part are his odds.
Yeah,
6-1. You've got other horses.
But again, these horses they're going to go higher. A horse like this, they get lost in the shuffle.
Okay, the 8 is Nakatomi. And Nakatomi, if we look at it here, this year, all single digits, 7, 6, 6, 7 this year over the last 4. It's coming off a grade 2 win at Keeneland. And interesting, because he ran in this race last year, and it was actually his worst result in the last 2 years, was this race last year. He finished 6th, and he ran a 10. This is a horse that normally runs single digits, as I just mentioned, the 7s and 6s this year. So that's just something to point out, that his worst race was this race last year, but you are getting 15-1, and he's a 6-year-old.
Yeah, but he's not really getting better. So he's going to run a 6 or 7 like the rest of the field can. And, he didn't make my cut.
Do you have any info here on American Stage, the 30-1 shot?
Well, it's first time in this country. He is a 3-year-old, but our numbers indicate that he's never really run better than a 10. So he didn't make my cut.
All right, here's the morning line favorite we talked about. Absolutely no value with Bent Tornado. I even doubt Bent Tornado is going to go off as the favorite. If you look at it, it does have a nice line. That is something to point out this year. He's gone from 12 all the way up to 6. So that's solid. Actually, the 12 to 7 was last year. He had the one race this year, so he had a long layoff from November to September, and he ran a 6 in a regular stakes race. So it's interesting. This is only his second race since being in this race last year when he ran a 7.
And he went off 28-1 that day. Last year. 28-1.
What's up with that? Yeah.
28-1, I could use him. 5-2, I have no interest. But again, listen, he never really runs a bad race. He's got 10 lifetime starts, and he's never finished off the board. 6 wins, 2 seconds, 2 thirds. So, he's never missed. He's never finished off the board. Saturday may be the first time it happens.
Okay. The 11 is Mulligan, a 15-1 shot. And Mulligan, really, if you look at his first 3 races this year, keeping in mind that last year he had all nice low-level numbers, 5, 6, 7, 8. So he starts this year 10-6-4. Excellent way to start. The 4 was in the July race, but then he bounces and just has a really bad day that you really would just prefer to draw a line through. And maybe you want to do that. And if you do, then I don't know. What do you think about Mulligan at 15-1?
I'm absolutely forgiving the last bad race. He's going to be a price. He's getting Pratt back on today. His horse is throwing clunkers. He got beat by Bookham Dano the last 3 times. Well, Bookham Dano didn't show up. He's not in this race. I'm using this horse at 15-1.
The 12 is Straight No Chaser, and Straight No Chaser is an 8-1 shot who happens to be the defending champ of the race. He ran a 5 in this race last year. He followed it up with a 5 going overseas. And then the last 2 races were 15-7. Keeping in mind that this is a 6-year-old, what do you think about Straight No Chaser at 8-1?
Well, the 15 was at Maidan, so you could draw a line through that race. Also, last time out, he was in a race at Santa Anita. It was a win and you're in for the Breeders' Cup. If you won that race, you got invited to the Breeders' Cup. However, he didn't need to do that because the race that he won 3 races back in Saudi Arabia made him eligible for this race. It was a win and you're in back then. So he certainly wasn't squeezed for his best effort. They knew the Breeders' Cup was coming up 6 weeks or 5 weeks later down the road. So his last race, while he ran very well, the problem that I have with this horse is he's owned by My Racehorse. So that means about 2,000 people own this horse. This is the horse where they sell micro shares. So you can forget 8-1 because 2,000 people own him, and those 2,000 people have about 10,000 friends. So you're not getting 8-1. This horse is going to be much, much shorter. So, but that being said, I still would use him because he's 1-for-1 at Del Mar, and he figures to run a good race.
All right, 2 more to go. The 13 is Madhouse, another one of the 30-1 shots. And Madhouse, interesting. He starts off his career, nothing special. The number's not great. The result's not great. Changes trainers, actually goes down in trainers from Brendan Walsh. And I get it. It is in minor leagues. But the fact is the horse went on a 4-race win streak, basically just wire to wiring the last 4, including a grade 2 last time out, running a 7 without Lasix for the first time. That's the one thing that does make the horse a little intriguing at 30-1.
Well, he is 30-1, so we don't knock those horses. It's not that he changed trainers. He was only changed trainers for 1 race. When he was, he was the same trainer that had him, David Van Winkle, had him early in his career.
Okay. Got it. Okay.
And he shipped to another track, and that guy probably wasn't licensed, so he ran under Brendan Walsh's name. I'm not looking at it as a trainer change.
Okay. No, it's not. Okay. And then the 14 is another 30-1 shot who has a grade 3 win. Ran a 5 twice this year. Ran a 5 in an optional claimer at Aqueduct in January. Ran another 5 2 starts ago at Saratoga. He has not, of course, it's very hard to, but you're stepping up in competition. So a lot of times you run that 5, you kind of do want to have back-to-back results when you're in a Breeders' Cup field, but you are getting 30-1 on a horse that has 2 5s in his last 5 starts. Okay.
So we've discussed, we went through this entire field, and there's only one horse that has a 3 in the race. And not only does that horse have a 3, he's got 3 or 4 3s, and that's the one Copian.
Yes.
So to me, Copian is a standout. I know it's a filly running against boys and everything else, but she figures to get a great trip. There's a ton of speed in here. She's going to be sitting right behind. She's never run 6 furlongs, but she's won at 6.5 furlongs, so that's fine for me. I like Copian, the 1. I'm playing exact is with the 6, Dr. Venkman, the 7, Imagination, the 11, Mulligan, and the 12, Straight No Chase. So 1 over 6, 7, 11, and 12.
Okay, so I guess we all got what you felt about the 14. Next up, I'm going to go with the 1, obviously. Also like the 1 there, Copion. And I'm going to match it up with the 4, the 6, and the 11. So I'm going to go 1 over 4, 6, 11. John's going to go 1 over 6, 7, 11, 12. And before we move on, just want to a point here for Anthony. This is real important because that obviously Chad was somebody that was a trainer, did a really good job on our show for a couple of years. There is a big difference. There's no doubt Chad Summers is a good trainer. But as John said, when you go from the elite or the better trainers, there's a level of, it's just like sports. It is sports. There's a level of class in every profession.
Listen, Chad Summers trained the Breeders' Cup winner and mind your biscuits.
Yes, he's a good trainer. Yeah, so, but
he's Jacobson, and I just don't like the horse. Even if it was still Jacobson, I wouldn't like the horse. I just think he's going in the wrong direction. That's
okay. Let's now talk about the Classic. So we're going to go in order. So let's move on now down to race number 9. And that is the Classic. And unfortunately, as John said...
Is this the last race we're doing today?
No, we've got the 11.
We're doing the 11th also. Okay.
Yeah. So the Classic is the one, as John referenced before. This was unfortunately no Sovereignty. And it's also unfortunate that we didn't find out before all the odds went out. But as you said, John, with your experience...
He was scratched this morning. The odds came out on Tuesday. Today is... What, Wednesdays? Yeah, so he was scratched. Yeah. He was scratched.
I mean, it just would have been nice if the horse wasn't on the board.
Okay, so let me tell you what to do. All the odds you see, just chop them in half because they took me out a 6-5 morning line. So most of them the odds will be half the price you see.
And of course, they're all going to change anyway once we get to Saturday. So let's talk about what we have here then, since Sovereignty, is not in the field. So the most logical favorite then is going to end up being the 1 Fierceness. And that's actually where we're going to get started. So again, this is a 1.25 mile race, the Breeders' Cup Classic. It's a $7 million race for 3-year-old and up. And this should go off about close to 6:30 on Saturday. And again, let's start at the top with a horse that has 3 Grade 1 wins, including the Florida Derby and the Travers. There's, of course, races he won last year. This year, he's run a 3, a 7, and back-to-back 6s. His last start at Del Mar was a Grade 1 win in the Pacific Classic, and that was a 6. So what about Fierceness, John?
I don't like him. I don't like him breaking from the rail. I don't like him at 2-1. And if you remember, the last time he broke from the rail at Del Mar, he almost went over the fake rail. He tried to jump it, and Johnny V did a great job holding them together. That was a 7-horse field. This is going to be a 10. Well, there's a late scratch of Sovereignty, so it's a 9-horse field. That being said, he had 3s last year. If you see both of them at Saratoga, this year came back with a 3 first out. But his last couple of races, even if you throw out the 6 last time out, 2 races back only a 6, 3 races back a 7. He's going to be 2-1, and I'm betting against him.
Okay. Now we're going to go and see if we can find some value. And I think it starts with Baeza. Baeza should be somewhere around 8, 10-1.
Never happened. Never happened. He went off 6-5 or 8-5 in the Pennsylvania Derby. No, well, why do you think he's going to be? I know he's 15-1 morning line. That's a ridiculous.
Okay.
price.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be more like 5 or 6-1, but it is what it is.
Yeah, and 5 to 6-1, and maybe that's even okay for a horse that's really got an excellent line. This year, he's gone from a 10 all the way down to a 4. He ran 4 his last start at the Pennsylvania Derby, and of course, you have to keep in mind that this is the horse that ran behind Sovereignty and Journalism. So every time you see him in 3rd or 2nd before the win at the Pennsylvania Derby, that was behind 2 of the best horses in the world. And now he doesn't have to worry about one of those horses. And the good thing is his line is just continually going up.
Well, it is and it isn't because it was kind of a flat line. He did run 4 straight 7s before he finally broke through last time out and ran the 4. So, from years of experience at looking at sheets like this, a lot of times when they break through and finally run the number, well, now they start running 4s. But that isn't always the case. I had this horse on the bubble. I guess I'm going to use him because I'm negative on a lot of other horses in the race. So he made my cut, but I don't. There's a horse that I like a lot that and we'll get to soon.
Okay, negative on a lot of horses in the Classic. I like it.
Well, I'm negative on Fierceness. He's 2-1.
Sure,
that counts for something.
Yes, let's go. Well, let's go for it. So let's talk about the 3 Nevada Beach, and Nevada Beach is an intriguing horse because we have Baffert on a horse that originally started off at 20-1. So I guess now he's down to about 10-1. And he's got a really good line, 12, 10, 8, and 5. That is just a really excellent line. And the 5 happened in his grade 1 win at Santa Anita last month. The interesting thing, John, is the fact that I was looking over his timing, and in his second race, he had 6 weeks off. In his third race, he had 3 weeks off. In his fourth race, he had 3 months off. And now he's going to 4 weeks off. So he's kind of been all over the place. But hey, for value, I guess you can't knock a Bob Baffert horse coming off a 5 in a grade 1 win.
No, and he's never gone backwards. Here, look at Baeza's sheet compared to Nevada Beach. Baeza ran 4 or 5 7s and then ran the 4. This horse ran a 5 in career start number 4. So he got to the fast number a lot faster, and I promise you, he will be twice the price of Baeza.
Oh, yeah. I think he's a must play based on him being a nice little long shot. Again, he's Baffert, so you never know how a horse is going to be priced on race day with Baffert. But with all these other really good horses in here, he should be a really good valued play on Saturday. Okay, next up is the 4 who this is just one of those deals where they just want to be at the race, right?
No, he specifically entered as a rabbit. He is a speed horse.
He's a rabbit.
He's a rabbit for Sierra Leone. Same trainer, Chad Brown. Same owner, Peter Brandt. He bought this horse as a rabbit. If you remember, he ran in the Whitney at Saratoga, taking care of a horse that Mama's Gold that I had and other horses in the race. He had one mission.
Oh, the one that there was a big...
just to destroy everybody.
And that was fun. Yeah,
well, he's going to do the same thing on Saturday. He'll run for 3 furlongs and finish dead last by many, many lengths.
All right. Nothing illegal about that. Okay. Next up.
Not illegal. It's just,
But I know. Hey, the rules are the rules, and it's in the rules. All right. The 5 is Forever Young. And Forever Young is a nice horse. This horse ran in the Breeders' Cup Classic last year, finished 3rd, ran a 7. And of course, went overseas, won the Saudi Cup, which was very impressive.
He ran in the Derby, if you remember, last year. And he was probably the best horse in the race. That was the race with Sierra Leone and with
Mystic Dan.
Yeah, Mystic Dan. There were 3 of them on the wire. This horse kind of got mugged that day, but he never really got better off the numbers. He did run a 3 first out this year, but he is what he is. He's going to run a 6, and I don't think a 6 is going to get you much.
Yeah, he's a solid horse. If you can find, if you get lucky with value, then take it. Otherwise, I think there are better options.
And he always gets bet because he's always highly regarded. He just never seems to get the job done.
And here comes Sierra Leone, the 7 horse at 8-1, now down, of course, to about 4-1. This is the horse you were talking about, the other Chad Brown trained horse with Pratt on board. This is the defending champ of the race who ran a 3 in this race last year. It was his best ever race and his only appearance at Del Mar. And since then, he's run a 7, 2 4s, and a 5.
And the 5 last time out, he had trouble. He was in the race where Mindframe fell off the horse and there was all kinds of traffic. So it's a little bit of an excuse, but the best race of his life was last year at Del Mar in the Breeders' Cup. Well, he didn't get worse. He's certainly the same kind of horse coming in. I could nitpick and say he didn't run the 3 that he ran last year, but that's fine. He's going to run the 3 on Saturday or better. This is my top selection, and this is the winner of this year's Breeders' Cup Classic.
Okay. What about the field regarding, of course, we know he's a closer. Is this going to set up nicely for him more than likely?
Yes. Well, you got the rabbit in there. What are you worried about? He went to the rabbit.
Well, you want other horses to follow the rabbit. So
yeah, well, obviously the rabbit's in there to take it, but he will, guarantee some sort of early pace. Anyway, he is my top selection.
Okay. Let's go to the next horse in the field, and that is Mindframe. And I like Mindframe. Look, I like the fact that we can draw a line to that last start because the horse,
he lost the rider at the start. It meant nothing. There was trouble going into the first turn. So Pletcher and Rapoli have two horses in the race. They have Fierceness from the rail, and they have Mindframe. I think Mindframe is 100 times better than Fierceness. And I'm using Mindframe as one of my exacta hookups.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite horses as well. He's coming off a 4. That's what he's coming off of. And he ran the 4 in June in that grade 1 win. He's coming off 3 straight wins in a grade 2 and 2 grade 1s. He ran second in 2 huge races, the Haskell and the Belmont. This horse has done nothing wrong. And you're getting decent odds as well. So
correct.
Okay, next up is the 9 Journalism. Now, we all know how good Journalism is. Journalism, of course, winning the Preakness and the Haskell. We really had high hopes that we would see him against Sovereignty again, but that didn't happen.
But he's never beaten Sovereignty. Everyone was waiting for the great rematch. Why would this race be different than any other race that they ran against each other?
I agree.
He's never beaten him.
Yep. So he gets lucky. No Sovereignty. Now, the thing we don't know, John, is we all felt at some point, as much as this horse was raced this year, that he was going to run out of gas. Yep. And we just didn't know when that was going to be. Well, it happened in his last start. He ran an 8. He finished second. And now the other question is, John, do you think that means that that's it? We're not going to see fierce Journalism again at his best?
Well, first of all, he gets a rider switch. It's first time Jose Ortiz. They actually took Rispoli off. I don't think he really did anything wrong in any of those races, but I guess they didn't want to leave. They didn't want to leave one of the best jockeys in the country sitting in the jocks room without a mount for the Classic. So they went to Ortiz, and that's their right. They own the horse. They pay the bills.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that that whoever made the morning line, he made a big mistake here. Fierceness, who he ran against last time, he went off 3-5 against Fierceness. So what do? They turn around and they make Journalism 10-1 and Fierceness 4-1.
It makes no sense.
Huh?
Makes no sense.
Yeah. So I like If I had to pick between the two of them, I would pick Journalism personally. So.
Sure. But the question is would you pick Journalism to win? And no, you're going with Sierra Leone.
No,
so
I'm not using them.
But what do you think? So are you going to use Journalism?
I think he could run the 5. He's the 8 last time out. He had some trouble in the race. And finally, he had all those races over the summer and starting with the Derby, it probably finally caught up with him. But now he's coming off of a bit of a freshening. For some reason I didn't use him. I don't know, but maybe I should have. I mean, again, because I know he's not going to be 10-1. That is a ridiculous.
Well, now he's already 5-1.
Yeah, he's already 5-1 before we even dig in. That's correct. Well, listen, he has 10 starts, 6 wins, 3 seconds, and a third. So he never had one either. So
again, we're just going to guess whether or not he's going to pick things off where he left off before he got tired.
Right.
In his last start. We don't know. It's a guess. And then the 10 is an intriguing long shot, and that's an Antiquarian. And that's because Antiquarian is coming off his best race in the win at the Jockey Club Gold Cup at 13-1. And he's also coming in on back-to-back 6s. And unfortunately, this is also too long a time between races for it to be a pairs. But he is looking, when you take a look at the numbers, doing nothing wrong. 10-7, couple of 6s. What do you think about Antiquarian?
Well, the only thing bad about him is he's got the 10 post. So these horses are drawn outside. Listen, all these horses are basically really the same. I mean, after Sierra Leone, they're all running between 5s and 8s. The idea is to figure out the right one. So I went with Sierra Leone as my top pick. Obviously, I'm going to get 3-1, maybe even less. And exact as I was going to use Baeza, the 2, I was going to use the 3 Nevada Beach and the 8 Mind Frame. 7 with 2, 3, 8. You want to go further? You could throw in journalism if you want, but I like 7 with 2, 3, and 8.
All right, and I'm going to go with Mind Frame. So I'm going to go with the 8, and I'm going to go with the 3 Nevada Beach. I'm also going to use the 7 Sierra Leone and the 9 journalism. So I'll go 8 over 3, 7, 9. John is going 7 over 2, 3, and 8 in the Breeders' Cup Classic. And now, because it's Breeders' Cup week, we get to the big bonus race on the card, which is race number 10, and that is the Breeders' Cup. The Breeders' Cup Mile, which is race race 11, which is the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. And this is going to go off about 7:45. So the good thing is when the Classic is over, you still have 2 really good races left, including this one. And this is a mile race, obviously. Again, 7:45 time start, $1 million race. And this is for 3-year-olds and up. And let me get this into position. And the morning line favorite is the 3 Nisos at 8-5. So let's take a look at the field, starting with the 1.
By the way, the interesting thing is that they're not running the Classic, which is a $7 million race, as the final race of the day.
Yeah.
Because they have obligations to show college football and everything else. So for TV purposes, it's now being run, I guess, as the 9th race because of the time and the TV obligations, which is ridiculous. I mean, the Classic is supposed to be the be-all and end-all. And then you have races after that, so it's kind of anticlimactic a little bit.
Okay.
Just pointing it out.
Let's go ahead and jump back into it. We don't really need to talk too much about the 1, do we?
No, nothing to talk about. He has no chance. Let's move on. The 2 is goal-oriented, who's never done anything wrong. And this is Baffert, and this is a horse I'll be using. He's not the key for me, but he's a must-use.
Yeah, I like goal-oriented a lot. You're talking about a horse that, again, hasn't done anything wrong. He's coming off a 5 and a 6 in his last 2 races, all grade 1 big races, keeping in mind that when he finished third, and 4th in those races, he finished behind some of the best horses in the world. So, yes, I could take goal-oriented, maybe being the horse that finally breaks out on Saturday. He's at 6-1. Now comes the morning line favorite, Nisos, who's got 3 months off following the Del Mar race in which he won the San Diego Handicap. It's keeping in mind that Nisos has never even been in a grade 1 race, but he's been really good in these other grade 2s and grade 3s. He's done nothing wrong. What do you think about Nisos, John?
There's something about this horse that I don't trust. If you recall, he was scratched 2 days or 3 days before the Pacific Classic. That was supposed to be the race of the summer. And something happened and he scratched. Yeah, he came back and won the San Diego. But if you cover the 4 that he ran 2 starts back sprinting, last time was the first time he went long. I'm not so sure he wants a mile distance. And what the real problem is, he's gappy. He ran 2 races as a 2-year-old, 1 race as a 3-year-old, and then took off for 14 months, came back, ran 3 races. Again, why is he supposed to run better than an 8 or 7? I don't see it. He's 8-5. I would try to beat him.
Yeah, he's one of those favorites that
Listen,
definitely...
he's impressive with his record. He's got 6 lifetime starts, 5 wins, and a second. So that looks good. But now he's running against real horses. Let's see it.
All right. The 4 is Mystic Dan. Boy, we've talked about Mystic Dan an awful lot over the last few years. At 6-1, coming off a win as the favorite in the Lucas Classic last month. He ran an 8 in that race. And also this year, he's run 2 6s and 2 other 8s, including on turf. And this has actually been his best run because last year when he won the Kentucky Derby, he won it with a 9. Didn't do anything after that. And really, it's just been since May that he's kind of picked it up.
Yeah, well, he's a 4-year-old. He's allowed to get better. But what this horse has, which he doesn't have going for him Saturdays, he absolutely loves Churchill Downs. The win last time out was at Churchill when he ran the 8. The race 3 starts back when he ran the 6. Best race, it was at Churchill. And even 4 races back, the win was at Churchill when he ran that 8. So I don't know. I don't like him at all. At 6-1, I think you have much better options.
All right, now comes the 5, Tumbarumba. And Tumbarumba is ridden by Gaffleone. Now, this is a horse actually that was in this race last year and finished 4th running an 8. So before, even at that point in time, early this year, nothing special about the horse. But all of a sudden, in the last 2 races, he's got back-to-back 6s, and he's sort of on that border there, John, of about, he's been about what, 7 weeks since the 2 races. So do you want to qualify him for pairs?
No, last year the 2.8s that he ran at the end of the year. Why isn't that a pair? And then he ran an 11 this year. The reason it wasn't a pair is because there was too much time between 8.
Well, he also had run a previous 8 though.
Yeah. Okay. Well, he also ran a previous 6. If you want to get that technical, he ran 2 of them. Last year, at the second start of the year, last year was a 6. Go back 3 years, and the last race was a 6.
Well, then there's no pairs.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay. So answered my question.
Listen,
so
20-1. If you want to use him, I wouldn't talk you off him, but he's a lot more likely to go backwards than to repeat or make a forward move.
Yeah, he only has the grade 3 win, and that's it. Because if you're not impressed with the 3, then why would you be impressed with the 5? And I don't look at the odds are completely different, but the point is still the same. Next up is the 6, Full Serrano. He's the defending champ of the race, and Full Serrano ran a 6 in that race. Since then, he's got an 8 and a 6 this year. He's got 3 wins at Del Mar. What about Full Serrano?
Well, he's got 5 starts in this country, and he's never run worse than second. 3 wins in 2 seconds. I gave the horse another 6. Problem is, there are other horses that could run 6 that are a lot longer prices. But all that being said, I'm going to use him.
Okay. Now we've got the 7, and that is Citizen Bull. Now, Bob Baffert, of course, this is the juvenile winner from last year. And there was a lot of talk early this year. This was the Derby horse to beat. He starts off with a grade 3 win in February. And then all of a sudden in the Santa Anita Derby, everything just fell apart. His numbers were not very good. But all of a sudden, in the last couple of races, he's kind of improved a little bit. He's coming off his best number, which was an 8 at Del Mar in a mile win, wire to wire. And he's only 3 years old. So you do wonder at 10-1 whether or not Baffert's got this horse headed in the right direction.
Well, first of all, I don't believe that he's going to go off anywhere near 10-1 because the horse is 3 for 4 at Del Mar, 2 for 2 at the distance. But I'm looking at numbers, and I see a bunch of horses leading up to this horse that have 6s. And, and he ran an 8 last time out, which was by far the best race of his life.
Yeah.
Not only that, when he wins, he gets loose on the lead. That's not going to happen here. He's going to have plenty of other speed to go with him. I don't like this horse.
Yeah, because what you're betting with the horse is you're betting on him having the best race of his career. That's what you're betting on.
Running a new top. Exactly.
Yes. Can he do it? Yes. But I'd much rather have him at 10-1, John, than if you're right and he goes off at 4-1 or 5-1.
Exactly.
All right. The 8 is Chancerman Patrick, another horse that early on in the Derby trials that he was a horse that people wanted to look at, but just never happened for him. That's because he had some really big races last year. He had back-to-back grade 1 wins. But like I said, never really worked out for him. He's got 11s and 9s. That's about it.
He could still get better, but he just never got better off the 9. When you run 9s as a 2-year-old, you're eligible to run 6s and 5s, and he just never got to that point. So he's been a disappointment, like you said.
Don't have much here on the 9, Touch of Destiny.
Well, he's 20-1, and he's 6 for 6. So the morning line maker thinks that those 6 wins that he has in 6 lifetime starts weren't against much. Listen, you go 6 for 6, and you only
That's Uruguay. Come on now.
You only make $95,000. Well, it's kind of probably the minor leagues.
Yeah, that is for sure. And the 10 is White Barrio. And White Barrio is, I guess, the biggest knock is that he's getting older. He's 6 years old. And his numbers, while he still ran a 4 a couple of starts ago in the Whitney, the results haven't been there lately. He ran that 1 in January, and then he ran a 4. And those 2 races, it seems like a long time ago, maybe even more than months ago. Do you think White Barrio, is there a number that you would play White Barrio? or you pretty much think that his time against the best horses are done?
This is my top selection.
Oh, wait a second. He was my top selection in the last race, and I think I was laughed at, but I like it.
You weren't laughed at. The problem is when that guy fell off the horse, the jockey actually jumped on this horse for a little bit.
I remember that.
Yeah. You know, just totally draw a line through that race, and I'm doing that. Okay, so he ran a 1, which is a disaster for a 6-year-old first out. It could have finished him for life, but it didn't because he ran a 4 next time out at Gulfstream. Then the 8 that he ran was on a sloppy track, so we certainly could excuse that race, can't we? It was a sloppy track, and what happens? He comes right back to the 4, 2 races back at Saratoga. So I'm reading it as 1, 4, 4 because I'm throwing out the sloppy track. And
now you know why I liked him in the last race.
Yeah, okay, exactly. And I'm throwing out the 8. The reason I didn't like him last time out is I thought the race was too close to the 4. But now he's got plenty of time for the 4. Who else? I don't like the post. Okay, so he's up against it with the post. But that being said, I see 1, 4, 4. I don't see anyone else in this race with 4s. So this is my top selection, and with confidence. I like him. I don't like him as much as I like Copion or Sierra Leone, but it's a close third. I think this horse is extremely live here, and I like this horse a lot.
Okay, I'd like to hear that, and I hope you have better luck than I did, but I'll be betting him for sure.
So the numbers that I'm using are 10 with 2, 3, 6 and exact. It's 10 over 2, 3, and
6. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and take Goal Oriented as my top choice, the 2 horse. And I'm going to go and let's see. I'm going to pair him with I'll tell you what, I'm going to pair it with the 3 and the 10, of course. So there you go. John has got the 10 with the 2, 3, 6. I've got the 2 with the 3 and the 10. And that is going to wrap up our Breeders' Cup special. I could see we have over 100 live viewers right now. So I'm going to say my piece when I let you go, John. I'll let everybody know about what we got going on here on the channel. And of course, next week, it starts all over again because we got to wait all the way until, I guess, the Derby prep races for the really big races again, right? Is that pretty much how it is?
Santa Anita opens the day after Christmas. Gulfstream Winter Championship meet opens, I think, sometime early December. So we'll have plenty of things like with this. It just keeps going, you know. It just never ends. It's
no time off.
No, and it is as it is. While we're still doing this, we will continue doing these shows, and hopefully it's for another year or so. And
Michael Roush likes your pick, by the way, John.
Who?
Michael Roush, our viewer, likes your pick.
Okay, which one? We gave out
White Barrio.
Oh, okay.
That's all I needed to hear. Horse has class for days.
He's right.
All right. And
all right, everybody. Stay safe and be well. Greg, thank you so much. Enjoyed it as always. And thank you for everybody that did tune in.
Thanks, John. See you next week.
Guys. Stay safe and be well, everybody. Thank you.
All right. So that's Jon Hardoon from the Ragas and Sheets and Pangea 1000. Appreciate you as well. Appreciate the viewers and the comment. Don't forget, you can hit the $sign on the boards there. And that is basically, it's like a super thanks icon for the show. Anytime that you want to donate to the show, especially if you win. Don't forget that. If we help you make some money, make sure to come back the next week and throw in a little bit because we make sure everybody gets a piece, of course, starting with John. And we also put that towards expenses because, as I said before, we're building something here. So everything that we do financially is just to put right back into the business, to pay for professional editors to come in and edit the programming to make it even more classier. And that's what we're working on. So we have a lot that we're thinking about doing here. And even though we're still only about a year and a half old, you got to keep that in mind. Proline TV has been around this channel for over 10 years, probably about 15 years. But it went dormant for 10 years. And I hooked up with the owner of the channel, Jim Feist, the legendary Jim Feist. And we decided to kind of take the channel and put it back into the mainstream and we've been around now for the second stint for about a year and a half. This is actually our first full football season, if you think about it. Actually, because we came in right around the start of football season last year. So this is actually our second full football season, but we didn't really get a head start last football season. So, and we've got a lot of things we're working on too behind the scenes. So again, just let you know exactly what we're doing here, because we're not going anywhere. And we've got our football coverage, of course, that is really taking up most of our video time here on the channel. Jim did his show at the restaurant in Las Vegas. Dom DeMarco's, he does it every Wednesday at 3 o'clock Eastern. He brings in a couple of the top handicappers in the industry as guests. So you can always check that out every Wednesday at 3 o'clock. Our show usually airs at 7 o'clock Eastern, but more and more we've been kind of juggling it around. Sometimes we'll be on at 4 or sometimes 7, but it's usually going to be, it's always on Thursday, or 90% of the time we're on Thursdays between 4 and 7. So, and we're always live. So this way we can interact with the viewers, and we appreciate your comments, as we said. And if you for some reason you don't comment during the show, just comment after. We love to go back and forth with you guys when the show is over. And that's also very important. Let me go through the picks. So in case you were here late, let me take a look. Let's see. I have them right here. Okay. So John started in race number 6 on Friday's card. And that ended up being, what race was that? Because John went with the 10 in that race. And that was the juvenile. Okay. I'm looking at actually the juvenile. So we did race number 6 on Friday, and that race was the turf sprint, the juvenile turf sprint. And John went with the 10, and that was Cy-Fair, a 6-1 shot over the 5, the 6, and the 11. So that's Friday's card, race number 6, the 10 over the 5, 6, and 11. I went with the 5 over the 6. And then in race number 9, I wasn't expecting John to give a pick. I just wanted to make sure we mentioned the race, and John decided to give a pick, which was awesome. So that was the juvenile race, and we mentioned the 7 and the 8. Those were the 2 top horses, top contenders. Well, John doesn't think there's much contention there. Definitely he likes Ted Nafi. That's his top pick. And since it's a heavy 4-5 morning line horse, he's going to go with a couple of long shots, the 3 and the 6. So that's a 30-1 shot and a 15-1 shot underneath the 8 Ted Nafi. And then the Saturday races we just did. So we did races 6, 9, and 11. And we started off, first of all, with race number 6. And that happened to be the sprint. John went, actually, we both went with the 1 Copion. Copion, a 7-2 shot. And underneath, John went 6, 7, 11, 12. So it's 1 over 6, 7, 11, 12. I went with 1 over 4, 6, and 11. We now move on to race number 9. And of course, that is the classic, the big race of maybe the year. And John went with the 7, Sierra Leone, over the 2, the 3, and the 8. So that's John's pick in the classic, the 7 over the 2, 3, and 8. I went with the 8, Mind Frame, over the 3, 7, and 9. And then we moved on to the 11th race, and that was the last race on our card, the Dirt Mile. And in that race, John went with the 10, White Barrio, and White Barrio sitting there at 8-1 over the 2, 3, and 6. So John's going with White Barrio, the 10 over the 2, 3, and 6. I went with the 2, Go Oriented, to win over the 3 and the 10. So, as I said to John, I definitely hope he has better luck with White Barrio than I did the last time out. I love the fact that John picked White Barrio in this spot, and it makes, especially since he's got good odds. So maybe we can make some money there. Like maybe we can make some good money on all the other races that we talked about. Also want to remind everybody, or let everybody know, if you're new to the channel, not only are we back here every week with John to do these shows, but again, you've got, we're ending our NASCAR coverage. So no more NASCAR coverage. This is our last show to preview the season. I'll wrap it up with one more show on Saturday just before the race on Sunday. We also have our football shows, and you can check it out. We do shows on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Matter of fact, I started Tuesday this week, so I shouldn't say Wednesdays anymore. So I'm going to be doing the shows on Tuesday night. Then Jim does his on Wednesday. Mark Lawrence hosts the Playbook ATS podcast show from the Playbook Experts website at playbookexperts.com. And that is at 1 o'clock Eastern every Thursday. So tomorrow at 1 o'clock, it'll be Jim Feist, Mark Lawrence, Andy Iskoe from The Logical Approach, and I will go over several races, several games in the NFL, and several games in college football. We do that every week. I'm going to be on tonight at 7:30, only because I haven't made the switch entirely yet, full-time to Tuesday. So I'm going to let everybody know about the switch. I'm also doing group of 5 games on that show tonight at 7:30 live. And I'm going to let everybody know that we're moving on to Tuesdays full-time starting next week. We also have the Penn State show. Now, unfortunately, it's a really bad year to have the Penn State show, but we're going to talk about the coaching search at 9 o'clock with Marty Leap, our analyst for Penn State football, and the game this week, the big game this week for Penn State against Ohio State. Is there a 20-point dog in the game? And then on Friday, every Friday at 3 o'clock, it's our last show, last football show of the week before the weekend. Mark Lawrence, Jim Feist, and I, we're the 3 partners here at Proline TV, and we get together every week on Friday just before the weekend to go over several games in the NFL and in college football. So that's normally what takes place every week right here on Proline TV, mixed in shorts and other shows. Look, we got basketball season coming up, so we're going to start talking basketball, especially college. I know I'm going to be getting into college basketball. We just kicked off the hockey season with a show to let everybody know what's going on with Jan Levine, our hockey analyst from the Hockey News, and RotoWire. That's already available if you want to check it out. We did that several weeks ago to start the season. And, of course, baseball is almost over, the World Series, 2 games apiece. You can check out jimfeist.com. He gives picks in baseball, Playbook Experts. They all do that. So if you're into all those other things that you don't necessarily see here on the site, check out the links in the description of our videos, and you can find out where Jon Hardoon gives his picks, where Jim Feist gives his picks, where Mark Lawrence gives his picks. And, of course, they're all here for you to interact with them every week on the show. So that's going to wrap it up. Good luck, everybody, on the big cards coming up on Friday and Saturday. And we'll see everybody here again next Thursday and every Thursday with Jon Hardoon from the Ragazine Sheet.